Hello and welcome. WhatsApp has replied to the Indian government's notice on Israeli firm spyware Pegasus. Countering the Information and Technology Ministry's claim, the Facebook-owned entity said it had alerted the government about the privacy breach in September. WhatsApp said that it had informed the government that the privacy of 121 Indians were breached in September. This apart from the alert that it had sent to the IT Ministry in May this year. However, the government said that while it did receive some communication from WhatsApp in the past, the alert was too vague and technical and did not specify the nature of the impact. Journalists, activists and diplomats were targeted in the intercontinental spyware attack. In fact, Wion World is One Siddhant Sibul was among those targeted. Remember, the IT Ministry had sought a detailed response from the messaging app saying that the Indian government was not informed about the hacks. The case only came to light last week when WhatsApp filed a lawsuit against the Israeli firm NSO over the Pegasus spyware. However, concerns over the Snoopgate were raised back in March. In March 2019, affected Indians began receiving suspicious missed calls. WhatsApp first flagged the breach in May this year. The IT Ministry issued a notification about the vulnerability in the same month. Between May and October, a Canadian cybersecurity group contacted those targeted by the spyware. All right, joining me for more on this is my colleague Daniele Pagani, live from Israel. Good morning to you, Daniele. What are we picking about the NSO company itself? Have they at all reacted to the controversy surrounding the use of the Pegasus spyware to target journalists, activists in India and around the world?
Good morning to you, Ramesh, and good morning to all our viewers. So when it comes to the reactions that the NSO Group published, we have no other reaction than the same statement that they have distributed all over the place, saying that they will fight against this lawsuit that WhatsApp launched against them because their products, according to their version of the story, are only used to protect the world and only used to chase terrorists and criminal networks and to help law enforcement agencies. But as a matter of fact, the NSO Group is a very secretive, so to say, organization. Through pictures analysis and geolocalization, I have been able to reach the place where you see me right now. Behind me, you can see the building that we have seen all over the media in these days when the news exploded. The problem is that the company since 2017 has moved out of this location. I am in Herzliya, Tel Aviv, the business quarter of the Israeli capital, has moved out to an undisclosed location. On their website there is no phone number, there is no address. Even on the lawsuit that WhatsApp filed against them, there is not any address mentioned. And this gives us the sense of the kind of company the NSO is. It's a very secret company which is linked to the secret services of Israel and sells to law enforcement agencies and government tools to hack into phones. Very powerful tools, so powerful that they are deemed to be weapons by the Israeli government.
And Daniele, to better understand where this all coming from and to understand the players involved, what kind of company actually is the NSO? And also, this is a highly secured company, so where does it come from?
The NSO company is one of the many cyber intelligence and cyber security firms active in Israel. Israel is a leading country in the sector. So the NSO was funded by people who belonged to the Israeli army and to one particular unit of the Israeli army, which is called the Unit 8200. Now, what is this unit? This is a highly secretive and highly technological unit. This is the Israeli army's unit which is in charge of cyber attacks and all cyber operations. They're extremely secretive, and what they do is top secret, but they are believed to be behind many of the cyber attacks done against Iran, for instance, and they protect Israel from hacking and from attacks coming from, for instance, exactly Iran, who is investing a lot of money on cyber attacks. The 8200 security unit is a unit where only very young recruits go, from 18 to 21 years old, but they are recruited even earlier, at the age of 16 to 17. There are members of the unit going around the colleges in Israel to find out who are the most tech-savvy recruits, and then they put them and they enroll them in the 8200. To put in perspective what kind of unit this is, the unit where the funders of the NSO groups come from, which means they have a highly secretive military background and a very high level of expertise. In fact, the government of Israel has also been quite unhappy about the fact that private companies are actually using their expertise matured within the time of the army to sell their products. But the 8200 unit runs a, so to say, listening center in the Negev desert to the east of Israel, and it is believed to be capable of basically tapping almost every device throughout the entire West Asia. So this is the kind of operations they conduct, and this is the place from where the funders of the NSO company come from. No wonder they are secretive and all their material is top secret, and they do not have a public face, and they do not intend to have a public face.
Daniele, what is the role, if any, of the Israeli government in this entire controversy?
The Israeli government came out public. They told to the Times of Israel, one of the most circulated online newspaper here in Israel, that they have nothing to do with the recent hacking spree. They clearly said that this is a private company that is developing a kind of software and selling it privately, so they have absolutely no role in that. Clearly, though the NSO is vetted by the Israeli government, there is no company in Israel that can sell these kind of products without going through the approval of the Israeli government. But when it comes to these very lawsuits we are talking about, so the lawsuit, the WhatsApp file against the NSO and all the controversy around it, it seems that the Israeli government was absolutely not on board, and we have no reason not to believe them, because being on board to this kind of operation would jeopardize the relations with other governments, so it would put at risk government-to-government relation. Much better to let private companies do that.
And finally, Daniele, now this WhatsApp snooping now has affected individuals around the world.
The so-called Pegasus software. This kind of software we can hack into virtually anybody's phone. Well, there is no proof that actually the government of India knew exactly what the NSO software was actually doing and what was being done on Indian soil. We are in the realm of speculation, but certainly it raises question. If this is a software that only governments can buy and operate, how comes that governments were not aware about the use of this software across the world?
All right, Daniele, thank you so much for that update. Appreciate it. That was my colleague Daniele Pagani reporting live from Israel.